Hey guys, Dwayne here. So wanted to talk about that the first major holiday is pretty much over. I guess, well, technically Monday morning, then the holiday break is over. So you made it. You made it through it. If this was a tough time, and I know for some of us it was, you got to give yourself some credit because if you were having a hard time, you made it through it. It may not have been easy, may have been tough, you may have been upset, depressed, sad, all those different things. But bottom line is you made it through it, right? So you got to give yourself some credit for that. This week starts normal schedules, so if you have kids, then they're back to school, and pretty much everything should go back to normal with your visitation and however your timeshare normally goes. So you're going to get a couple of weeks up until the Christmas break where things basically kind of calm down. Now I know that's really not entirely true because, as everyone's already noticed, any store that you have gone into already has the Christmas stuff up. They're already playing it. So if you're rolling into the Christmas break, and let's say, like for me, Thanksgiving break was my break with the kids this year. So Christmas, I don't get that break. I do get a few hours on Christmas Day, which I'm really grateful for. But pretty much when they start school break, when they start the school's break, I'm not going to see them. So that's something that I have to mentally prepare myself for and get ready for. So if you're in the same boat and you're going through the same process as I am, and depending on where you're at and in the process will determine how much it negatively impacts you. Hopefully you have a plan to deal with it and you're going to be okay. If this was hard, think of ways that you could have made it better. What decisions could you have made that would have been different from what you did to ease that? Are there things you could have done, people you could have not seen, places you could have not gone, or places you could have gone to that would have not been made it easier? The second thing, what decisions did you actually make? Like I said before about what you could do to make it better, look at the decisions you did make and just take a post-mortem on it and look at it and say, okay, was that a good decision or was it a bad decision? Did the decision make it harder for me or did it make it easier? Okay, and finally, taking that information into account, what could you do differently rolling into the Christmas break that would make it easier for you? Now, if you have your kids, maybe it won't be so bad because, that's not an issue. But, there's different things you can look at on what you can do to make it just a little bit easier for you. Okay, the next thing is just look into yourself, right? Basically take a step back and look at how you did react and respond to this. This whole situation is a really difficult situation. Divorces are difficult in and of themselves, like I've said before, but when you're dealing with a narcissistic personality type and an abusive ex who uses your kids as weapons, it makes the holidays that much harder, that much more difficult. So take a moment to learn from what you have done and what you've done correct, and what you can leverage on what you're doing right, and then minimize those things that aren't helping you. Minimize those things that are making things harder. And bottom line, you have to give yourself a break. And what I mean by that is if you made decisions that weren't great, if you had an interaction with your ex that wasn't positive, and you're regretting and you're looking back at it and you're looking at the quote unquote mistakes that you've made, give yourself a break. This is not an easy situation to deal with. It's not. You know it. You're dealing with it. I've gone through the same thing. And in the mix of that, we're all bound to make decisions that aren't really the best decisions that we could possibly make. So don't get yourself all wound up and beat yourself up on those. Now learn from them. You don't want to keep making the same mistakes twice or 3 times or 4 times or multiple times. So, look at it and say, okay, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have engaged in whatever way you did that was potentially negative. And then just let it go. Don't beat yourself up on it. Okay, bottom line, what we talked about, and we've talked about what I've talked about in different videos, is the holidays are really difficult when you're going through this. It's inevitable. When you're at the beginning stages of this, it's even that much more difficult because you're dealing with all those raw emotions that you haven't had time to really process, and now you have a very emotionally charged period of time within the holidays that can dredge up a lot of memories, a lot of anxiety and stress, anger, and all those things. And guys, it's typical. It's normal. Nothing about this is easy, but as time progresses and you learn better skills on how to deal with it, it does become easier, and you do learn how to mitigate a lot of the drama and the stress and the anxiety that's around this situation. And just, to give you a little bit of hope, as that time progresses and as you learn what you're doing, it's going to become easier. It may not seem like it right now. And I know when I was in your shoes, I felt this stuff was never going to end, that the pain was never going to go away. The anger was never going to go away. It takes a really long time. And as I've said in other videos, sometimes it'll flash back up with me, but the intensity of it goes down. So if you're having a bad day on this and you're really, feeling like you're overwhelmed, just take a step back, give yourself a break, and know that as you learn how to deal with that person, as you learn to know how to better interact with your kids, that pain and anger and frustration is going to subside, and you are going to be able to basically take away that power that narcissistic ex has been playing on you and putting you through, and you're going to get your life back and things are going to calm down. Maybe today's not the day, but the day is coming. Okay, so on that, I'm going to wrap this video up. Hopefully you guys had a good Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye.